hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. In my heart, I can't let go, I'm breaking apart, controlling me, controlling me. And welcome everybody to the Sunday edition of the Paranormal Portal, Bedtime Stories from Beyond. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I'm absolutely thrilled you're here with me. And thank you for tuning in whenever it is you're able to tune in. Just as a quick note, I've heard that from a lot of people they're not getting notifications for shows. Again, please check your settings. Sometimes there's a glitch in YouTube that unchecks the bell so you don't get notifications like you're supposed to. I don't know why that's happening or has happened, but something to check. But I hope you guys are all ready because, well, it's time for bed. Hey everybody, and we are underway here on the Bedtime Stories from Beyond, and we just came off of two really fascinating, fantastic shows this weekend. Again, Jeffrey Seelman, the Exorcist spiritual teacher, joined us on Friday, and then last night, Robin Moonshadow joined Don and I here in the portal, and we discussed a lot of proto-pygmies and little people and big people, and such as giants and Bigfoot, and had a great discussion as well. So a couple of amazing shows that we had. I was just going to look. I don't even remember from week to week what's going on. Oh, this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to mark your calendars. On Friday night, on the 18th, we'll be joined by paranormal investigator Dan Pruitt, who will be joining us. He's been on the show several times. And then on the 19th, Mrs. Linda Godfrey joins us here, the Beast of Bray Road, Monsters in America, etc., dozens of books and credits to her name, but she'll be on the show on the 19th. So it's another jam-packed, outstanding weekend ahead of us. So definitely watch the calendars because it's going to be some shows you don't want to miss. But I hope you don't want to miss any of these. I think they're all great, even if it's just hanging out with you guys and telling you ghost stories, which is what the bedtime stories are for. So without further ado, thank you to all you guys that are in here and have come in. Really, Diana, Lady Death, M-Cat, Deb, Don's in there. Nice going, Don. Good to see you. Let's see, Renee, Lena, Ken's in there. Good deal. Sarah's in here. And looking. I said Lena, Sarah, Terrestrial Mac. Good to see you. Let's see. And Renee's here, of course. I don't know if I said Renee already or not, but great to see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And if you want to shout out, tell me in the chat because I'll be trying to watch it. I've actually started. Oh, there's Jim. Hey, Jim. Good to see you, brother. And Jim, of course, is our UFO researcher and contactee himself. So he's right along with us in the TF or the YouTube chat room. Sorry, I'm just been a long day. Uh, oh yeah, that's funny. The first part of every show is like a bunch of hellos, hellos, hellos. There's so many names that come in now, but I mean that's a wonderful problem to have. But it's like, before the show starts, while the theme song's going, I'm like, hey, 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 typing out these names and hearts and stuff because I love you all. I'm just thrilled you all are here. Oh, Haxer, there you are, brother. Good to see you. And Taz, how you doing, Taz? I didn't see an email, Taz, so I don't know if you didn't send it or did send it or what. But just so you know, I haven't seen one yet, so I am watching for it. I've been extraordinarily busy today. My eyes are just fried because I've been working on a bunch of 3D modeling and working on learning some animation and stuff for the show. And just because I love that kind of stuff anyway. But when you start looking at these grid patterns and these lines, it's like, oh my God, for hours. And I don't know. I hope I can read these stories for you guys. Otherwise, I'll just have to close my eyes and make some up. No, I'm just kidding. I would never make up stories for you guys. I only bring you the allegedly real. In fact, I'm very, very, very serious about that. I would never insult anyone's integrity or honesty or, condescend to you guys and try to bring you a bunch of crap. That's something I take very seriously about this show, is that I can't verify any of these things that I'm finding on the web are true, but I can tell you that they are submitted in such a way as they are supposed to be true. So if ever we cover a story, and if we catch a bad one, I'll be the first one to say, that doesn't sound right, But I don't ever mean to, to to imply that I know for sure any of these are true or not, but I think they are. They're supposed to be. And, generally we discuss them afterwards, and if they sound like they're a bunch of bunk, I'll be the first one to say it. But anyway, here we go. The first one I'm going to read you tonight is coming out of the great state of Minnesota, my old stomping grounds. That's where my family still is. And a good chunk of my heart is there, too. Two of my boys are there, so it's tough to be so far away. But anyway, before I tell you my story, I want to give you a little background on my family history. It starting with my mom, rather. Just to save some typing, I'll tell you the blunt part of it. She dreams things and they come true. And they're never good things. But the fact that a lot of the stuff happens is really creepy. My mom and I have long believed that this, and it's in like quotes, gift has been passed through her side of the family. And she always told me stories of my grandmother having really crazy stuff happen. My grandpa rather, having really crazy stuff happening to him. And that it is very, very real. Well, one day, Mom and I got into a huge fight, and I ended up in my room alone crying and pacing and in more emotional pain than I've ever been in. I was looking in my mirror crying when I heard a pop noise out, and it sounded like someone dropped a light bulb. I knew something had happened, and I started by inspecting the mirror and I was looking into. Nothing had happened to it, and when I walked around my room, I found my glass tray had broken into pieces. And I'm most definitely telling you that it was some thick glass. Without thinking twice, I ran into the kitchen where my mom was and started screaming about how she broke my tray. She had no idea what I was talking about. A lot of my friends have come up to me through the years and have said, "Man, that stuff that happens to you is so cool. I wish something like that would happen to me." And let me tell everyone out there reading this, there is nothing cool about being haunted. And if you have seen half of what I have, you would probably go crazy. Thanks for reading this, and I hope someone in the future will learn or prosper from the story in some way. To anyone else out there that's haunted also and needs someone to talk to who are in the same shoes, email me. And I'm not going to give out the email, of course. But, I think sometimes situations like that may actually be the person themselves. Now, he blamed his mom, or he or she, was written by a Mike, so I assume but he blames his mom. And I don't think that's probably accurate at all. I think all of that anger and rage and frustration he was feeling was probably being channeled into that one moment, and very subconsciously, but to the point that it just, reacted with something in his environment. So I'm sure that it was probably some latent ability within this person that made it happen. Now, I don't mean to trivialize someone's claims like this, but it always really bothers me when I see claims like that. Well, if anyone else had lived what I lived through, they wouldn't even be sane or something like that. It's like and it's it's just me. It's just one of my pet peeves. It's like, don't ever assume your pain is so much more than anyone else's pain. I mean, I know it feels real and huge to you, whatever it is that you're dealing with, but to disqualify everyone else as less than yours is just not fair. Whoever's hurting is hurting enough. They don't need to compare what their hurt is to yours. And, I don't know why people feel the need to, grab these badges of honor from their pain. Like, well, what I've been through, nobody else could have done it. Maybe they could. Maybe all of them could. I don't know. But those kind of statements really bother me. It's like this bravado or this badge of honor, I mean, I've seen some weird things in my life, and some of it, it really freaked me out when I was much younger. But, at the end of the day, I don't go around going, oh, if you'd seen what I saw, you wouldn't even be alive, or whatever. It's just like, it doesn't matter. But anyway, that's me soapboxing a little bit. But those kind of statements always bother me. It's like you don't have to have so much ego around it. It's like, if you're hurting, that's too bad, and I'm truly sorry to hear that. But to act like your pain is just so much more than anyone else's is just not fair. All right, so the next one I'm going to read you is coming out of the state of Connecticut. I don't know if it's a great state or not. I imagine it probably is, but I've never been there. I called my house phone from my cell to play around and see what I sounded like on the phone. As stupid as it was, I packed my phone up, and a strange, loud laughing came from my cell, which was on speaker. I called my younger sister for help and ran out of the room. We were home alone, and this actually happened 10 minutes ago from me posting this, and I came across this site looking for tips on how to protect myself from a ghost. And this is not my only paranormal encounter. My house was built by my great-grandfather and was a boarding house, and many people passed away here. How will I learn to adapt? I mean, I do always hear walking and creaking up in the attic, which no one has been in there for ages. My house is haunted, and I think this stuff comes with me, too, because I've always been visited by ghosts in my dreams in my old apartment building. If you have an explanation, please leave a post or contact me. And another email. So, please help. Maybe I should just suck it up and live with it, like many have. And good for you. It's so funny. I was just talking about that last story, and now here's somebody just like, it's almost like they heard me and answered it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's just something you got to suck up. But I'm sure a laughter is, well, it's creepy. I don't know if that's necessarily a harmful act. It's probably some kind of intimidation or just some mischievous spirit that's bored, and you're darking around trying to hear what you sound like, and they're like, hey, watch this. So I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to be afraid of, but it is certainly unnerving, I'm sure. But anyway, who knows? Now these are some of my favorite stories, ladies and gentlemen. The one that I'm about to read you, and I haven't read it before, but if it's similar to the other ones that we have read on the show, these really boggle my mind. And I really think these are absolutely fascinating. So this comes out of Virginia, the state of Virginia, and it says, excuse me, hold on a second. I had to sniffle. I had a friend named Carol who was dying of cancer, and her husband called to tell me that she was in hospice, meaning the end was really close. I couldn't go to visit her because my car was out of commission, and also because I knew that I'd cry, and Carol wouldn't like that, so I just stayed home and cried off and on all through the day. I didn't accomplish much of anything. And late in the day, I suddenly experienced a lightness of mood. I felt that my life was so beautiful and wonderful, and my family so nice, that if I failed to cook as I had, I could just order it out for pizza. So I did. And we were eating pizza and the phone rang. It was Carol's husband telling me that she had died late in the afternoon around the time that my mood had changed. I got all weepy again and stayed that way all night. And at bedtime, I went to bed, and although I've never done this before or since, I picked up a crystal that I had on my nightstand and fell asleep with it in my right hand. Then I dreamed that the phone on my nightstand rang, and I picked it up and said, "Hello?" "Hello," said the voice on the phone. "This is Carol. I just wanted you to know that I'm dead, and I'm fine. So, bye." Carol's voice had some slight, raspy, rapid, definite, almost angry sound that it had in life. But I apparently realized that this was weird and woke up suddenly, and when I did, I noticed that the phone receiver in my hand was the crystal with which I'd fallen asleep. Most people will say that this is just a dream, but I have to say that it didn't feel like any ordinary dream at all. And I think that's really powerful. It's not quite what I was expecting for that story, and not to trivialize dream experiences, because I do believe that they are very profound and very real, and have just as much significance as anything else. And if you listen to Friday's show, Jeffrey also was talking about that a bit, and said that there's no difference between what we do when we're dreaming and what we're doing when we're awake. That a lot of what we're experiencing in our dreams is us going and doing things. So, but the ones that I really get a charge out of and find absolutely powerful and fascinating and incredible is the ones where people's phones really do ring and they answer them, and it's their deceased loved ones. Now, usually those phone calls are accompanied with quite a bit of static and like really bad connections. But then again, if it's trans-dimensional phone calls, I can't be too harsh about the phone quality. But I think those are so strong and so amazing because I don't know, it just shows. It's just another thing that shows that anything is possible, But at the same time, I'm thinking, why haven't some of my people called me? Why haven't they called me to say anything? I'm waiting for that phone call too. It's like I want to pick it up and talk to my grandma or talk to my dad or something, and that'd be outstanding. I think maybe I'd be wrong. Maybe I'd be absolutely freaked out, but I don't know. But I think those are just incredible. The possibility that they could actually reach out through their energy and create what we would receive as a phone call. Man, that is so powerful. And it's just another affirmation, right? Life goes on. This isn't it. As Jeffrey said on Friday's show, it's like, you don't want to know what changes when you die? Absolutely nothing, except that you don't have a body suddenly. He said it's just like everything else you're doing in life. It's not, tremendously different. And I agree with that in the sense that you are still you. And I think that that's what he was saying, that, you aren't suddenly someone else. You are still the person you are when that transition happens. But I think, of course, as he was saying as well, you can travel at the speed of a thought to anywhere, to anyone, and be right there with them. And so that is quite an amazing change. And there is another world that we have, we would go to and be a part of, and however you identify that. Some people are looking for the heaven experience, and perhaps that's exactly what they'll have. And some people are looking for, the amazing experiences that a lot of people describe in the near-death experiences. I think those are amazing. I've heard stories of people in NDEs that are suddenly in this library, and all they have to do is look at the book, and all that knowledge just comes into their head, but they can't retain it when they come back, which is too bad, because they sit and they read tons of books, and then they're so excited because they know they're going back, but then when they come back, they don't have any of that knowledge, which is too bad, because imagine what they could do to the world or what they could help with. But at the same time, maybe it's just history that hasn't quite been written yet. Maybe those are the things that are coming, and they're symbolized as books. Anyway, I could theorize and snowball on that all day long. But again, the phone calls, I think, are incredibly profound and pretty amazing. So the next one is coming out of the state of Kentucky. I'll have to find some from, some more stories from abroad for, for guys like you, Ken. I know we do a lot of discussing about the states and all the experiences, but I can find stories from down under as well, so you can hear what's going on in your neck of the woods. Or you could write in some more stories, Ken, and tell me what's going on. I want to hear them all. But Ken has actually submitted a ton of encounters and stories to the portal, and I've shared every one of them. Pretty amazing stories too. That man has seen a lot, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so out of the state of Kentucky it goes. When I was a child, we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, and I was around 10 or 11 years old when this happened to me. And me and my mom and some of my sisters shared a room, and when it was time to go to bed, we all would go to our rooms and we would fall asleep, and this woman would wake me up and she would talk to me. I really don't know what she said, but I would try my best to get my mom up, and I heard her say, "She can't hear you." Then she would just walk out of the room. The next day I told my mom, and it was getting where it was happening about every night, and I slept in the living room, and I saw her pass me up and walk to the bedroom door, and she looked, never said anything, and walked out. She walked in our kitchen, and I got up and walked over there, and she went through our wall. Well, the next day, my brothers pulled that wall down, and there was a bedroom on the other side. My mom told the guy we were renting from, and he told my mom a woman passed away in there, and when we opened that up, I never saw her anymore. Not much after that, we ended up moving out, and I don't know why this woman was coming to me. That is very strange. Again, is it just an acknowledgement? Maybe she wanted her room rediscovered. Like, for her, that was important, so she was lingering. And then, of course, when her room was re-emerged from that wall that had been placed over it, maybe that was a release for her. I don't know. But very, it's, of course, very tragic when people pass, but it's a journey we're all going to take eventually. The next one comes out of Illinois, ladies and gentlemen. Illinois. The home of Chi-Town. All right, and says, "This is true. And think what you want, but it is. When I was 2, I lived in this old house from the 1900s. A married couple used to live there, but the husband killed his wife in the kitchen." Oh, man. I'm not going to get into the details, but because they were really too gruesome. But then went into the garage and he killed himself. When I started walking, I went into the kitchen and I saw a lady, and I call her Amy. And she was cutting tomatoes, but then I saw her husband come in and he started chasing me. Amy tried to stop him, and I ran to my grandfather and started crying, and it scared me, so I guess that's how come I remembered it. These type of events kept happening, so I made friends with Amy, and if something happened, she would protect me. I raced her up and down the hallways and jumped on the bed with her, but one day she seemed really angry, and I couldn't hear her talk. I guess she was mute. I think her husband made her angry, and my grandparents were laying down, and Amy went in there, and I followed, and I asked what she was doing, and my grandparents looked at me like I was crazy, and Amy started shaking the dresser, and I asked her to stop, and she shook it harder, and then she looked at me and stopped. I took her hand and walked out. Afterwards, my grandparents found out the house was haunted. This kind of stuff kept happening. And so we move out, and I miss Amy, but I think about her all the time and how she protected me. That's kind of a beautiful story, yeah. That's, I don't know. It's horribly tragic, though. Oh, my God. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. It's just, I understand people get upset and people just get beyond crazy sometimes, but, I don't understand when it goes that far that somebody would actually end somebody else's life. Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, if someone was hurting my child or my wife, I could understand wanting to put a stop to them. But, It's a place that nobody ever wants to go, and normal people just walk away from dangerous or bad situations before they get that bad. But man, some people live in their negative places, and that's where they dwell until it all just breaks. And that's so tragic. Life's too short, You can't live unhappy. It's just so short. We are but a wink in the eye of a star. I don't even know what that meant. But it came out. I thought it sounded rather rich and deep. But on the other hand, it's not maybe as rich as I thought it was. So, continuing on. This one is... Sorry, I got something on my lip. Okay, this one's coming out of Wisconsin. All right. I was about 12, and I was all alone in my house. My sister went to a friend's house, and my parents were out, and my grandparents were at a wedding in Green Bay, and I was in my room on the internet searching around for good ghost stories to tell my friends. And I was in my bedroom, which was at the end of the upstairs hallway next to the bathroom. And if you walk out of my bedroom, there is one right across from it, which is a guest room, and is always kept shut because one of our 3 cats likes to get in there and stay for days. Next to those 2 rooms at the end of the hallway is a bathroom, which I don't use because I always find spiders in there. And on the left side of my room is another room, which is my sister's, and the left of the guest room is the office. And I know this is boring, but you need to know the house to understand the story. Sorry, I had to cough. After all of the rooms, there are the stairs, which leads right to my grandparents' bedroom to the left, a bathroom to the right, and one of the 2 basements to the right. One of the 2 basements to the right. Wow, there's 2 basements in the house, just before the bathroom. Next to my grandparents' bedroom is the living room, and the kitchen is right next to that, with the dining room through it. And on the left of the dining room is the other basement, which is where my parents' room is. Oh, wow. Okay. The laundry room and 2 storage rooms, and there are 2 doors in the dining room and one in the living room, which constantly stays locked. Back to the story. Now, I was in my room on the internet when I heard the doorbell ring. And I went downstairs to the dining room to see who it was, but no one was there. I locked the door again and checked the other 2 just to be sure, and went back up to my room and started back with the internet. And after about 10 minutes, I heard footsteps in the hallway right next to my room. So I got up and looked to see if anyone was there, and no one, of course. So I went back to my room thinking it's one of the cats, and after about another 10 minutes, it starts again. Now, I definitely knew these footsteps were like human footsteps, not cats. And once again, I looked out the door, and I saw nothing. I looked to check the guest room, and the door is open. Feeling stupid, I checked to see if the cat had gotten in there when I went in there earlier to get my sister's sleeping bag and thought I had probably left the door open. Nothing was in there, so I closed the door and checked the bathroom, nothing, and I checked every room, even the basements, and nothing or nobody was there. All of my cats were in the basement near my room, sleeping on the couch, and that was all I saw. I went back to my room, and as I was going in my room, I noticed the guest bedroom door was open even though I had just closed it. This kept happening to me all night while I was alone. I never saw anything or anybody, but something was there though, and I could feel it in the air. Every now and then, when I go to visit my grandparents, we moved from that house 2 years later, but my grandparents stayed, I can hear footsteps, and the guest room is always open. Creepy. Yeah, that's that's the kind of thing that'll drive you nuts. Very crazy stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Very crazy stuff. But that's the paranormal for you. I'm just looking to see how long we've been at it. Half an hour. Well, I think that's a pretty good episode. Maybe I'll find you one more to read, guys, just because I love you so much. And it's just parting is such sorrow. So let's do one more. I hope this isn't a really long one. Here I am trying to be a nice guy. Let me see. No, this one's nice and short. So we're going to end on this one, ladies and gentlemen. But let's see what's happening here. Hold on. Sorry. I didn't mute, but I'm just a little froggy. So this one comes out of Colorado, and it says, I've lived in my home for about 13 years, and I've done everything I can to live with these ghosts. But I don't think I can take a lot more. My friends say my personality has changed when I'm at home, and things go flying across the room, footsteps are going up and down the stairs in the hallway, and I learn to ignore them, and I believe there are 2 men and 1 woman and a child, and I have video of them talking, but no one wants to help me. I've used sage. That keeps them away for a while, but they come back. I've had visitors run from my house, and everyone asks how I can stay there, and I have nowhere else to go, no money, and this is my home, and I'm trying my best to stay here. I have hundreds of detailed encounters. One I will never forget was a few weeks ago. My minister from the church came over to pray with me, and his name is Pastor Halfman, and the living room became very cold. Our hot coffee turned to cold coffee in just seconds. When the minister was on his knees holding my hands and we were praying, this ghost, or whatever this evil presence is in my home, pushed me back away from the minister, and the minister said, I'm not going to let go, hold on. And at the final words, I was weak and shaking. But they didn't leave. I need some help, or I'll have to move. Please help. Well, I wish, this is one of those I wish I could get hold of them. Now, again, this story is from 2007, so I'm sure they probably have had, the ability to move or some kind of resolution since then. But still, those are the kind of things that I take a great deal of pride in, the fact that we have resources to help people that are, in those kind of situations. Certainly nobody should live in fear, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm so pleased that we have such amazing listeners and very gifted people who have extended themselves to help. And, it just feels really good that the portal can not, is not only just a show for entertainment, but that, people like Sean and Joel and Diane and Deb have reached out beyond that to be, to help a lot of people that have been living in some pretty crummy situations. So, but this is exactly the kind of situation where I would be like, you know what, email me. I'll get you in touch with someone. So, and to those of you that have done that, thank you so much for sharing your gifts and your abilities and helping so many out. And if you're listening to the sound of my voice and you are in a situation where you do need help, let me know. Please email paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and we certainly can put you in touch with someone that can be of assistance to your situation. So, but don't live in fear, and don't let these things control your life. This is your life. This is your opportunity to shine, and you don't need something dark trying to put, to diminish you. So we can certainly help most of the time. We haven't ever had a situation where we can't yet, and I don't want to challenge the universe to find a situation like that, but I just think it's really wonderful. So I hope you all have enjoyed the show. Thank you so much to all you guys here. Oh, Lewis is here. I see that now. Let's see, anybody? Oh, Jess is in here. Hey, Jess, good to see ya. And I'm just scrolling through the Nellie. How you doing, Nellie? It's good to hear from you this last show. Diogo Emiliano. Oh, he's in Brazil. How you doing, Diogo? Good to see you. I think you might be our first Brazilian listener, so at least the first one I've heard of, but it's wonderful to hear from you, and thank you so much for being here. We do these shows 7 days a week, every night of the week at this same time, which is we start at 7 p.m. Pacific time, whatever that means to Brazil time, I don't know, but it would be great to see you again. Thank you so much for finding us. But anybody else have I missed? Oh, Naysay's in there. How you, brother? Good to see you. And thank you as well, Naysay, for calling in. That was good to hear from you last night. But I think that's everybody. I'm scrolling through the list here. Gemini, good to see you. I don't know if you were here before, but good to see you. I don't see anything else. But thank you guys so much. Wait a second. Did I miss one? No, I thought I saw a name. I thought I saw Stacy's name there for a second, but it must have been just my imagination. But if you're here, I don't mean to imply that you couldn't be here. You could be here, but I saw Sassy. Diana at one point said Sassy, and Stacy usually has Sassy Stacy for her name. So anyway, guys, love you bunches. Thank you so much for being here. Be good, be kind, be nice. Help each other out there. And if you need help or you have a story of your own you'd like to share, please email it to paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. And again, only on the Friday, Saturday shows do we have the phones available. So even though you're seeing a phone number on the screen, it only works on Friday, Saturday nights. So you can certainly call it, but you're going to get a whole different show on the network. And we don't connect to the network until Friday, Saturday nights. So, all right, guys, love you bunches. And I will be back again tomorrow night for another episode of the Paranormal Portal Bedtime Stories from Beyond. But take care, and hope you guys have a great Monday. And I mean that sincerely, even though it sounds like a dig, but is there any such thing as a great Monday? I think there might be. It's all here. It's all right in your head. So just keep smiling. All right, guys, we'll see you soon, and take care. Have a wonderful night. Get some sleep, sweet dreams, and I'll be back tomorrow night for more of this mayhem that is the Bedtime Stories from Beyond. Good night.